In this video, we're going to talk about a little bit about key signatures, and we're going to talk about how they work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to build a major scale. Use treble clef, and why don't we do an A major scale? A major scale. It's going to start on the note A. So a whole step above A gives us B. A whole step above B gives us C sharp. Half step above C sharp gives us D. Whole step above D, E. Whole step above E gives us F sharp. Whole step above F sharp gives us G sharp. Half step above G sharp gives us A. So we have A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. Now if we think about the rules of the major scale, we have all of the pitch classes, so we have some sort of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. We haven't skipped or omitted or repeated any notes. So this is indeed an A major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notes. The scale starts and ends on the last note, so I promise this is a major scale. So if we were to take this major scale and write a song with it, as we notated that song, provided the song had the notes in the A major scale, like if we wrote Happy Birthday using this scale, we would have to write a lot of C sharps, a lot of F sharps, and a lot of G sharps. And so I don't really know who came up with the idea, whether it was just people wanted a shorthand way to tell people, hey, anytime you see a C, it's a C sharp, F, it's an F sharp, G, it's a G sharp, that sort of thing. But we can represent the notes in this major scale by using what we call a key signature. So I'm going to shift down a couple of lines. And the way this works, same clef. So in this scale we have 3 sharps: C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. Now, in a piece of music, normally up here, if this is the top of our page, we would see treble clef, and then we would see in this zone, this is where the key signature goes. Then ultimately we would see some numbers here. This is the time signature. So let's say this might be 4/4 or something like that. Let's not worry about this too much today. That's going to be the subject of another video. In fact, I'm going to erase this line because I just don't want people to get too worried about it. In fact, I'm also going to erase this time signature. What we're interested in is the key signature. So when you see sharps or flats, immediately to the right of the clef, whether it's treble or bass clef, those are sharps and flats that are telling you which notes are either sharp or flat all of the time. So if we're going to go back to our example in A major we have C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. And so if I was going to organize those sharps into a key signature for A, I'm going to start with the F sharp, then we have the C sharp, and then the G sharp. And this is our A major key signature. And so what these notes tell us are anytime there's a note that's an F written, so if we have something on this line, or actually because key signatures cover all pitch classes, so if we have this note, because there's a sharp over here, it's an F sharp. If we have this note, also an F, this is also an F sharp. If we have a C sharp, or if we have a note on the C line, because there's a sharp over here, this is a C sharp. Even if we have a C way up here in the ledger lines, this is also a C sharp. If we have a G, it's a G sharp because there's a sharp right here. If we have this G, it's a G sharp. And so key signatures are a shorthand way of writing the scale. In fact, another way to write this A major scale, keep it in the same clef. We're going to start with the A major key signature. This is another way to write an A major scale. Because we have these key signature notes, we don't need to have the sharp in front of the C, or the sharp in front of the F, or the sharp in front of the G, because all of these are already over here. So I'll take those out of here. One careful factor, or thing you need to be sort of careful with, is when you name notes and there's a key signature, you have to take the key signature into account. So up here, with the top example, we have the sharp right by the C, so it's easy for us to remember, oh, that's a C sharp, because it's all contained right there. This is an F sharp, this is a G sharp. But when I name these notes, I have to think about what sharps or flats might be in the key signature. So this is an A, because there's no sharp or flat on A. B. When we name this, this is a C sharp, because we have a C sharp in the key signature. D, E. This is an F sharp, because of this F sharp in the key signature. G sharp, because there's a G sharp in the key signature. Basically, that's how key signatures work. So if you're writing a melody and you're in a certain key with sharps and flats, and you don't want to have to write all the sharps and flats all the time every time they occur, key signature is the way to go. Now, a couple of things that you probably noticed. In the A major scale, the first sharp is C sharp, the second one is F sharp, and the third one is G sharp. Why was it then, when I made my key signature, I put it in the order of F sharp, then C sharp, then G sharp? The answer for that is because key signatures, or the way that the sharps appear in key signatures, they're always built in the same way. I'm going to move my page up. Let's just get out of that A major world. And so if we write down the key signatures, the first sharp in a key signature is F sharp. I'm going to put dividing lines between these, and I'm going to write all of the key signatures of sharps. So the next one is F sharp, C sharp. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. This is probably the most boring thing you've ever watched in your life. But key signatures are important. We're almost there. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and the last one, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, B sharp. So the order of sharps, or notes that are sharped in the key signature, is F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, B sharp. Now the cool thing about key signatures is that it's a well thought out system. For instance, if we go to this second key signature, where we have an F sharp and a C sharp, a key signature with two sharps will only have an F sharp and a C sharp, and they will always be in these places. You're never going to see, the F sharp down here and the C sharp up here or anything like that. Key signatures are designed to be easily read by musicians, and as you learn how to play an instrument, you become familiar with the key signatures, and so after a while you see 4 sharps and you know it's the key of E major, 6 sharps and you know it's F sharp, that sort of thing. And so key signatures, the sharps are always in the same place and they always go in the same order. So that's why in that A major scale, the key signature notes, if we scroll, quote unquote, back down there, the key signature notes didn't go in the same order as the sharped or the raised notes in the scale. And that's totally fine. That is the way it should be. Now, scrolling back down, key signatures, so here we have F sharp, F C, F C G, and so on. When we see key signatures in bass clef, I'll try to make these lines in the same spots. The exact same notes have the same sharps, but because, remember, treble clef, every good boy does fine, bass clef, good boys do fine always, the notes are in a different place. And so if we see this key signature with one sharp written in bass clef, this one sharp is an F sharp, it's going to be written here on the F line. So in treble clef, the F sharp is written up here on the top line because that's the F line, and here it's written one line down because this is still an F sharp. And so the key signatures look exactly the same, they're just shifted down. So we have F and C, F, C, G, F, C, G, D, F, C, G, D, A, F, C, G, D, A, E, and F, C, G, D, A, E. You can hear the cars going by outside my room. That's funny. Okay, so in bass clef you can see that the key signatures are the same. F, C, F, C. They're just shifted down one line or one space for each note. F, C, G, F, C, G, D, and so on. Okay, now the last facet of key signatures, you never in this class really asked to write key signatures yourself. The most important thing we talk about is how to look at a key signature and how to figure out what major scale that key signature would be associated with. So let's go back to our example in A major here. One thing I didn't mention is that key signatures read from left to right. So if we were to read this key signature, it would be F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. And so for major scales, with sharp key signatures, I'm going to write SIGs. What you do is you go to the last sharp. So here we have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and you go up a half step from the last sharp in the key signature. So G sharp plus 1/2 step. If you think about your keyboard, you're on G sharp, the black key, and you're going to go up a 1/2 step to the next white key, which is going to give you A. And so 1/2 step higher than the last sharp is the tonic of the key signature. So to complete the rule down here, for major scales with sharp key signatures, 1/2 step above the last sharp in the key signature is tonic of scale. So this is the rule for sharp key signatures. So the last thing we're going to do in this video is sort of turned into a epic endeavor, is let's go through and let's name the key signatures. So here, our last or our only sharp in the key signature is an F sharp. So F sharp plus 1/2 step is G major. You can follow along on your keyboard. Here, the last sharp, C sharp plus 1/2 step is D major. So here's the last one. G sharp plus 1/2 step means this is A major, like we proved up here. 4 sharps, the last sharp is D sharp. If we add a 1/2 step, that makes 4 sharps E major. For 5 sharps, the last sharp is A sharp. If we add a 1/2 step, 5 sharps is B major. The last couple have a little tricky thing. So here our last sharp is E sharp. So remember, E sharp is enharmonic with the note F. So you have, your black key, then there's this white key, then there's this white key, and then there's this next black key. So this is where E and F are. And so an E sharp is a 1/2 step higher than E. So we have to be careful here. So E sharp plus a 1/2 step. So we're on E sharp and we add a 1/2 step. This key signature is called F sharp. And the last one, sort of the same thing. We have F, C, G, D, A, E. This one's a little bit high. Let's move it down. This is on B. So this is a B sharp. Now B sharp is a lot like the previous example. So we have the black key, white key, black key. And this is B, and this is C. So B sharp is actually enharmonic with C. So B sharp plus a 1/2 step. So B sharp plus a 1/2 step makes this key C sharp major. And with all of that being said, this is how sharp key signatures work. Thanks for watching.